I should never have surrendered. I should have fought until I was the last man alive. There is one God looking down on us all. We are all children of the one God. God is listening to me. The sun, the darkness, the winds are all listening to what we now say. Now I can eat well, drink well, sleep well, and be glad. I can go everywhere with good feeling. I was living peaceably and satisfied when people began to speak bad of me. I had lost all. We are vanishing from the earth, yet I cannot think we are useless, or God would not have created us. He created all tribes of men, and certainly had a righteous purpose in creating each. While living, I want to live well. I know I have to die sometime, but even if the heavens were to fall on me, I want to do what is right. I think I am a good man, but in the papers all over the world they say I am a bad man. But it is a bad thing to say so about me. I never do wrong without a cause. I was no chief and never had been. But because I had been more deeply wronged than others, the honor was conferred upon me, and I resolved to prove worthy of the trust. Late one afternoon, when returning from town, we were met by a few women and children. We were told that some 44 Mexican troops killed all the warriors of the guard, captured all our ponies, secured our arms, destroyed our supplies, and killed many of our women and children. When all were counted, I found that my aged mother, my young wife, and my 3 small children were among the slain. Thus it was in the beginning. The Apaches and their homes, each were created for the other by God Himself. When they are taken from these homes, they sicken and die. How long will it be until it is said, there are no Apaches? In the beginning, the world was covered with darkness. There was no sun, no day. The perpetual night had no moon or stars. There were, however, all manner of beasts and birds. Among the beasts were many hideous, nameless monsters, as well as dragons, lions, tigers, wolves, foxes, beavers, rabbits, squirrels, rats, mice, and all manner of creeping things, such as lizards and serpents. Mankind could not prosper under such conditions, for the beasts and the serpents destroyed all human offspring. During my many wars with the Mexicans, I received 8 wounds as follows: shot in the right leg above the knee and still carry the bullet, shot through the left forearm, wounded in the right leg below the knee with a saber, wounded on top of the head with the butt of a musket, shot just below the outer corner of the left eye, shot in the left side, shot in the back. I have killed many Mexicans. I do not know how many, for frequently I did not count them. Some of them were not worth counting. We had no churches, no religious organizations, no Sabbath day, no holidays, and yet we worshiped. Sometimes the whole tribe would assemble to sing and pray. Sometimes a smaller number, perhaps only 2 or 3. The songs had a few words, but were not formal. The singer would occasionally put in such words as he wished instead of the usual tone sound. Sometimes we prayed in silence. Sometimes each one prayed aloud. Sometimes an aged person prayed for all of us. At other times, one would rise and speak to us of our duties to each other and to God. Our services were short. I give myself up to you. Do with me what you please. I surrender. I once moved about like the wind. Now I surrender to you, and that is all. It is my land, my home, my father's land, to which I now ask to be allowed to return. I want to spend my last days there and be buried among those mountains. If this could be, I might die in peace, feeling that my people, placed in their native homes, would increase in numbers rather than diminish as at present, and that our name would not become extinct. We raised our hands to heaven and said that the treaty was not to be broken. We took an oath not to do any wrong to each other or to scheme against each other. The soldiers never explained to the government when an Indian was wronged, but always reported the misdeeds of the Indians. Much that was done by mean white men was reported at Washington as the deeds of my people. If an Apache had allowed his aged parents to suffer for food or shelter, if he had neglected or abused the sick, if he had profaned our religion or had been unfaithful, he might be banished from the tribe. In that country, which lies around the headwaters of the Gila River, I was reared. This range was our fatherland. Among these mountains, our wigwams were hidden. The scattered valleys contained our fields. The boundless prairies, stretching away on every side, were our pastures. The rocky caverns were our burying places. I was warmed by the sun, rocked by the winds, and sheltered by the trees as other Indian babies. When a child, my mother taught me the legends of our people, taught me of the sun and sky, the moon and stars, the clouds and storms. She also taught me to kneel and pray to God for strength, health, wisdom, and protection. We never prayed against any person, but if we had aught against any individual, we ourselves took vengeance. We were taught that God does not care for the petty quarrels of men. I have always prayed, and I believe that the Almighty has always protected me. The Apaches had no prisons as white men have. Instead of sending their criminals into prison, they sent them out of their tribe. Those faithless, cruel, lazy, or cowardly members of the tribe were excluded in such a manner that they could not join in any other tribe. I frequently went with these parties, and upon one of these excursions, a woman named Choco Lee got lost from the party and was riding her pony through a thicket in search of her friends. Her little dog was following as she slowly made her way through the thick underbrush and pine trees. All at once, a grizzly bear rose in her path and attacked the pony. She jumped off and her pony escaped. But the bear attacked her, so she fought him the best she could with her knife. Her little dog, by snapping at the bear's heels and distracting his attention from the woman, enabled her for some time to keep pretty well out of his reach. Finally, the grizzly struck her over the head, tearing off almost her whole scalp. She fell, but did not lose consciousness, and while prostrate, struck him 4 good licks with her knife, and he retreated. After he had gone, she replaced her torn scalp and bound it up as best as she could. Then she turned deathly sick and had to lie down. That night, her pony came into camp with his load of nuts and berries, but no rider. The Indians hunted for her, but did not find her until the second day. They carried her home, and under the treatment of their medicine men, all her wounds were healed. The Indians knew what herbs to use for medicine, how to prepare them, and how to give the medicine. This they had been taught by God in the beginning, and each succeeding generation had men who were skilled in the art of healing. As to the future of the state, the teachings of our tribe were not specific. That is, we had no definite idea of our relations and surroundings in the afterlife. We believed that there is a life after this one, but no one ever told me as to what part of man lived after death. We held that the discharge of one's duty would make his future life more pleasant. But whether that future life was worse than this life or better, we did not know. And no one was able to tell us. We hoped that in a future life, family and tribal relations would be resumed. In a way, we believed this, but did not know it. The song that I will sing is an old song, so old that no one knows who made it. It has been handed down through generations and was taught to me when I was but a little lad. It is now my own song. It belongs to me. This is a holy song, a medicine song, and great is its power. The song tells how, as I sing, I go through the air to a holy place where Yeshun, the Supreme Being, will give me power to do wonderful things. I am surrounded by little clouds. As I go through the air, I change, becoming only spirit. I was living peaceably with my family, having plenty to eat, sleeping well, taking care of my people, and perfectly contented. I don't know where those bad stories first came from. There we were, doing well, and my people well. I was behaving well, I hadn't killed a horse or man, American or Indian. I don't know what was the matter with the people in charge of us. They knew this to be so, and yet they said I was a bad man and the worst man there. But what had I done? I was living peaceably there with my family, under the shade of the trees, doing just what General Crook had told me I must do, and trying to follow his advice. I want to know now who it was that ordered me to be arrested. I was praying to the light and to the darkness, to God and to the sun, to let me live quietly there with my family. I don't know what the reason was that people should speak badly of me. Very often there are stories put in the newspapers that I am to be hanged. I don't want that anymore. When a man tries to do right, such stories ought not to be put in the newspapers. There are very few of my men left now. They have done some bad things, but I want them all to be rubbed out now, and let us never speak of them again. There are very few of us left. I was warmed by the sun, rocked by the winds, and sheltered by the trees. I was living peaceably when people began to speak bad of me. Now I am free. I can eat well, sleep well, and be glad. I can go everywhere with a good feeling.